Are you happy it's springtime? I certainly am. It's been a long winter, but we survived, didn't we? Hi, everybody. This is Rob. Welcome to the channel. We are going to be doing our top 10 spring decks. We're going to do this from number 10 all the way to number 1. So let's get to it. Deck number 10, the Slavic Legends Tarot. And so you guys, make sure that you stay all the way till the end because you won't believe which one is number 1 for the spring season. The Slavic Legends Tarot reminds me of spring all the way. It has to do with the motif of the deck. It has to do with how much gardens and flowers and everything I see when I open up this deck. It is just total spring to me. It just speaks spring to me. Now, there is a couple of different versions of this deck that you can get. Here I have the smaller size and the cards are on that shiny paper. And I do have also the larger size of this deck. I did a review on both of them. So if you're interested to see what the other deck of the Slavic Legends looks like or how it compares with this one, then go in the channel and take a look. It is rather interesting. You guys, this deck comes in this box. It looks like a book. It's totally cute for those of you that have never seen this box. And it has that rose petal feeling. It is a hardcover box, and this is what the inside of the box looks like. It doesn't come with the book. That is one of the reasons why it made it to number 10. Otherwise, I think it would have been higher on the list, but it doesn't come with the book. And as some of you know, I do like to get a book with my decks, especially when they cost a bit more than a regular deck, which that is the case with this one. This deck is not on the inexpensive side. This deck is actually on the expensive side. So you guys, when it comes to cardstock, it is sort of on the thinner side. That is another reason why I made it to number 10. It is sort of on the thinner side. It is completely shiny, this particular one, but it comes in a matte version as well. So let me clarify that. When it comes to the booklet and when it comes to the meaning of the cards, you can go online and you can download the meanings of the cards. I have done that, but I don't know where I don't know where I put those pages. And that is one of the reasons why I do not like not to have a book that goes inside of the case with the cards, because I tend to misplace them and it's just another thing I need to carry around with me, and so most of the time they just get lost, and that's the case with this one. So I just use my intuition and that's fine, right? That's what tarot is all about. You can just take it by the horns and use it as you wish. Let me show you what some of these cards look like. By the way, it is gilded, and it is gilded in that matte finish. And so this one lasts a while. I've had this deck for a little while now, and so it has held up pretty well. When it comes to shuffling, it is a smaller deck. So when it comes to shuffling, it shuffles really well, as you can see here. When it comes to size, you guys, the size is, I would say, a bit smaller than a regular card. Yeah, this one is, but it is shorter, but it is a little wider. So it's almost the same size as a regular size. When it comes to doing a spread with this deck, it works really well. Because it is that shiny paper, you won't have any problems spreading this deck. And so let's look at some of these images. You see, here we go. You see these images, they just remind me of springtime. I see a lot of trees, I see a lot of green, I see a lot of flowers, I see a lot of characters out in the wilderness, and that's one of the reasons why this reminds me of springtime. This is the 5 of Cups. Let's pull some others so I can show you around. And like I said, if you want to see a full flip through of this deck, you will find it on my channel. Here is the Wheel of Fortune, and once again there's a lot of green floating around, so one of the reasons why it reminds me of springtime. 10 of Swords. Now this is really ironic. You see a figure here that is just all bones, but then you see it around a lot of green. So once again, the green is always in this deck, and it reminds me of springtime. This is the Page of Swords. This is the 2 of Coins. And this is the Hierophant. This is the Nine of Cups. Beautiful deck. I really enjoy using the Slavic legends. It's really a wonderful deck. It speaks to me with kindness. It really delivers a message that I'm always willing to hear. It's chatty and it is just absolutely breathtaking. So you guys, that is deck number 10, the Slavic Legends by Taroteka. Let's move on to deck number 9. Deck number 9, Joy de Vivre, Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. And if some of you know, or if some of you don't know, I am a big fan of Paulina Cassidy. And this deck is flimsical, this deck is light, this deck is full of colors, this deck is full of images that remind me of springtime, and this is why it made it to deck number 9. The presentation is not that good. I've always complained about that. That is the back of the talk box, and this is the talk box. This is the side of the talk box, and you can pause your device and read it if you like. The talk box is nothing to brag about, as well as the little booklet that it comes with. You know, one of the complaints that I've always had about the Paulina Tarots is that they are so beautiful. She's such a talented artist that I don't know why they're all mass produced. I don't know why there's not an indie version of this deck, because she has several of them out. But nevertheless, I love her artwork, and so I purchased them. This is the booklet that it comes with. It just goes right into the major and minor arcana. This one is by US Game Systems, by the way. And these are the cards, you guys. They are not gilded. So this is what the back of the card looks like, and they are reversible. And when it comes to shuffling this deck, it shuffles really well. This is total normal size deck, by the way. So if you have small hands or if you have big hands, this is just one of those decks that you can handle perfectly. I think they were made for everybody's hands, and shuffling is really, really good. When it comes to the card stock, it is not the best of quality, but it's also not the worst. I mean, for a mass-produced deck, it's not that bad. And so it will do. The printing of it also could have been better, but look at those drawings. Just beautiful. Perfect for springtime. I would say that any of Paulina's decks would be, for me, perfect for springtime. And so let's try to do a spread with this, and you will see that this works just beautiful. Look at that. It works just beautiful. I have to say that the back of the card is not my favorite, but it is what it is. This is the 8 of Wands. Look how cute that is. At the beginning, I did not know if I was going to like Paulina Cassidy's decks because they just seemed so whimsical. And I thought that tarot needed to look like something else, but I was wrong. You know? And Paulina's decks will give you your answers, but they will give them to you in a soft, sort of whimsical way. And so if you're feeling witty, if you're feeling light, if you feel like, like you're blooming and it's just springtime, then one of Paulina's decks would be absolutely perfect to come out with. And this is deck number 9 for my spring collection. This is the Joy de Vivre Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. You guys, let's go to deck number 8. Deck number 8, Lilifer Tarot by Marion Constantine. This deck is very light. This deck is made with watercolors, and so it makes it light and whimsical, and that's why I thought it would be a perfect deck to take out for springtime. Let me show you around. Now, there is 2 versions of this deck. One of them is the gold version and the other one is the regular. I got the gold version. It's a bit more expensive than the regular. The box is a hardcover box. It breaks into 2 pieces like this. This is the inside of the box, and this is the main character of this particular tarot story. It is RWS inspired. This is the other side of the box, or the inside of the box. This is the book that it comes with. It is sort of a smaller book. It gives you a picture of the card. It gives you the meaning of the cards, major, minor arcana. It gives you a couple of spreads. But this book is really special because it gives you the meaning of the sacred numbers. It gives you the meaning of the sacred colors. It gives you the planetary symbols. And here it also gives you a description of the zodiac signs. So useful little book. useful little book. I love this little booklet. And so it's got that rose petal feeling, and it's a nice, informative little book. And these are the cards. Look at this back. The back is so silly. But then look at these colors. They're totally light. They're pastel colors. They are watercolors, as I mentioned, and it is just light and perfect for springtime. I don't think that they can be reversible, but you can try anyway. It's sort of convoluted, so maybe you'll miss it. But nevertheless, such a cute little back. The cardstock is really not the best. It's a little bit too thin for me. Now, the size of the cards is a little bit smaller than your regular one. So if you have smaller hands, this is a perfect deck for you. This isn't a small little deck, and it is convenient because you can take it with you. If you're traveling and you want to take a deck, you can take it with you. The box is also small. It is hardcover, so it's going to protect your cards pretty good. When it comes to shuffling, this deck shuffles really, really well. The cardstock is not shiny. It is sort of on the matte side of things, but it is nice. Now, these are what the cards look like. They are framed in a gold, and it has many, many symbols here. As you can see, this is the Five of Cups. Really, really cute. Look at those colors. Like I said, they are total springtime. And if you want to do a spread with this, by the way, it's not gilded, but if you want to do a spread with this, it doesn't work so good. But at the end of the day, you'll be able to manage. Let's pull some of these cards and see what they look like. This is the moon, right? So I don't really relate that much to the images on this deck, but I still like it very much and I still work with it, and I'm happy that it's part of my collection. And so that's why I made it to my spring collection of top 10 decks, because I do use it and I do enjoy using it. This is the moon, as I mentioned. Let's draw a couple of other cards here. This is the Hanged Man. And you see very light colors, very light images, nothing heavy about it. This is the Knight of Cups. This is, by the way, the Seven of Cups. The Devil. Look how cute that looks, you guys. So, you guys, that is Lillifer Tarot. That is our deck number 8. Deck number 7, the Field Tarot. Totally light, beautiful light colors. It's got that sort of airy feeling to it, sort of new, sort of blooming feeling to it. Let me show you around this deck. This is by Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. It is by US Game Systems. This is the deck this is one of those decks that you can pretty much find everywhere. It is a mass-produced deck, and it comes in this box, which breaks into 2 pieces. It is a hardcover box. It is a very US Game Systems sort of a deck and presentation, I mean. And so this is the book that it comes with. Now, they say that it's a feminine deck. I happen to disagree with that. I use this deck on a regular basis. I enjoy working with this deck, and I don't find it so feminine. So, yeah, you can make it totally feminine if you want, but if you're a guy and you're watching and you've hesitated getting this deck because they say that it's a feminine deck, I disagree with it. It's a beautiful deck. I wouldn't say it's masculine. I wouldn't say it's feminine. It's just beautiful. So this is the book. It goes right into the major and minor arcana. It's got that rose petal feeling to it. This is the table of contents. You can pause and take a look at that, and so on and so on. Nice little booklet. And already when you see the back of this card, you see that it's light. You see that it's spring-like. The colors are super, super light, and it's going to give you that very, very spring-like feeling. When it comes to paper stock, by the way, it is not gilded. Price, you guys, it is very reasonably priced. If you're familiar with US Game System decks, this is going to run you about $20-$25 depending where you're located. If you look at the cardstock, it is regular run-of-the-mill cardstock. It is not too thin, it's not too thick, it's okay, and for the price that you pay, it is okay. The size is pretty much regular size. It's just a tad bigger, but really nothing to complain about. this is what some of the cards look like, and I'm going to show you some of those images in a moment. If you're interested to know how this deck shuffles, because it is regular size, you won't have a problem holding it as I do, and it shuffles pretty well. So if you like that some of the cards turn, well, that's going to happen with this deck. So see, there you go. And it just shuffles really, really well. If you want to do a spread with this deck, it also works pretty good, as you can see, because of the card stock and what they have used. Let's look at some of these cards. This is the Hermit. Beautiful. You see that? It just reminds me of springtime. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring this deck out for spring. Though, however, I have to tell you guys that I use this deck on a very regular basis. Not just because it's springtime, I'm going to take it out. It's not like I haven't used it in a while. No, I use this deck on a regular basis. It gives me really direct answers, and I really like it for that. And the seekers tend to enjoy this deck too when I take it out. So this is the Exploration. And so that's what this deck looks like. This is the Six of Wands, Success. And one of the things that I really like about this deck as well is that it gives you the name of the card, and it also gives you a keyword, which I find very, 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 very helpful. Especially if you're starting with tarot, you're going to find that that's going to help you a lot. I like it not because I'm starting, but because sometimes I get a brain blockage or something, and then I look at that keyword and it just all of a sudden, boom, it comes back. So 10 of Swords, Despair, and so on and so forth, you guys. This is the Field Tarot, and this is deck number 7, and I am ready to show you guys deck number 6. Deck number 6, Smith-Waite Tarot Deck, the Borderless Edition. And you guys, before I present this deck to you, I wanted to tell you that if you're interested in any of these decks, there is full reviews of most of these decks on the channel. So if you are interested in one of them and you feel like you didn't see enough right now, because of course we're doing a list of 10 decks, and you want to see more of the deck, go back into the channel, look for the deck. They're all in there in the library. So I invite you to do that. Now, you guys, Smith-Waite Tarot Deck, Borderless Edition. As I said, deck number 6. This is a classic, right? I mean, and of course, the Borderless Edition, I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it at first sight. I've had this deck for a long while now. I use this deck on a super regular basis, as you could imagine. And as I can imagine, many of you use it. Not like some of us that are seasoned, but also if you're starting with tarot, this is a great deck to begin your journey with. And so this is the Pamela Coleman Smith, and it is just so wonderful. This is what the back of the tuck box looks like. This is what the front, this is what the side looks like, and you can pause your device and read that if you care to do so. And this is the other side of the box. The tuck box, and this is by US Games, by the way, and the tuck box is one of those warrior tuck boxes, I call it, because it is fairly sturdy. Unlike many other tuck boxes out there, this one is pretty sturdy. And so I love the back of the cards as well. This is the booklet that it comes with. Not very helpful, but then again, you don't really need a book with this deck, I feel like. For the first time, I would say that you don't really need a book or a booklet. It is self-explanatory. And if you don't know the meaning of the cards because you are just learning tarot, there's many books out there that you can buy and would help you. You really don't need that booklet. Look at this, you guys. They are not gilded. Totally fine with me. This is what the back of the card looks like, and they are reversible for those of you that are not familiar with this deck. And if you're not familiar with this deck, definitely I encourage you to take a look at it. It's not expensive at all. You can find it almost everywhere. It is a mass-produced deck, and so easy to find, affordable. When it comes to the size, it is regular size, and so shuffling this deck is really, really easy and wonderful. Card stock on this deck, you guys. Cardstock is just perfect, really. It is not too thick, it's not too thin, it is not shiny, it is sort of on a matte finish. The printing of this deck is absolutely gorgeous. It comes with a couple of extra cards with paintings that they added in there because it is a borderless edition. They thought that they would celebrate that with some extra paintings. And if you want to do a spread with this deck, it works just beautifully. You guys, this is just one of those decks that you can use any time of the year. I brought it out for springtime, well, for this particular video, because I use this deck very much on a regular basis. And it's just absolutely stunning. I love the fact that it's borderless. The printing on this deck is gorgeous. The colors on this deck are really, really bright and cheerful. As you can see there, you have the Seven of Swords. This is the Strength. This is the Emperor. Beautiful, right? Look at those colors. The Hermit. And you know, here you have a classic deck. Just classic. You're going to get straight answers with this, you guys. There's no other way to put it. You're going to get straight answers. You're going to get right to the point. You're going to have a pretty easy reading. And these are the paintings that it comes with. This is the card that explains to you which paintings those are. It gives you a little bit of explanation. That is the presentation card. Two of Wands there. The Chariot. So on and so forth, you guys. Beautiful deck. Love my Smith Waite Tarot Deck Borderless Edition by US Games. And, you know, I've said this before and I'll say it again. US Games puts out really, really beautiful decks. I mean, for mass-produced decks, they really do a good job. So with that being said, you guys, let's jump to deck number 5. As I said, when we start getting into the number 5s, I start getting really, really excited. And don't forget to watch until the end, because deck number 1 is going to really inspire you. Deck number 5, RWS Panorama. You guys, this is not an inexpensive deck. This was an expensive deck, and it needed to come all the way from Thailand for me. I couldn't find it in my area. I couldn't find it anywhere else other than in Thailand, to be honest, and it costed me a bit of money to get it shipped to my location. But I have it, and I thought that I would bring it out for springtime. I haven't used it in a little while. It is a different sort of a deck, but, you know, I look at spring in a way that it just opens my eyes again. It's, you know, like those flowers that were sleeping and then all of a sudden they open up again for springtime. You know, the leaves come out on the trees and everything sort of gets renewed. And so this deck gives me a different perspective when I work with it, because the images are different from what we are all used to, which is the regular RWS. This is RWS, but has different imagery. It has a more complete panorama picture of it. So let me show you all around. It comes in a thick box like this. This is what the back of the box looks like. This is what the sides of the box look like. Let's open it, and it opens into 2 pieces. It doesn't come with any booklet, you guys. So, and it doesn't have anything that you can download. So just for FYI, it doesn't come with any of that. But it is a regular RWS, so I think a booklet would have been redundant for this particular deck, right? So these cards are not gilded, as you can see. This is what these cards look like. Look at this fool. Cardstock. Cardstock is really good on this deck. Colors are bright. One of the reasons why it made it to number 5 on my spring deck. The back of the card has the lilies, and it is reversible in case you read in reverse. By the way, you guys, if you are wanting to see the entire review of this deck, I have it on the library. So go back to the library and take a look at this full review if that is something that interests you. Not gilded. And if you want to shuffle it, you will not have a problem with it. First of all, cardstock quality, really, really, really good. Sturdy, robust. It's not going to get worn out it's not going to get worn out easily. If you do a spread with this deck, it works. It doesn't work perfectly, but still works. And so Let me show you what some of these cards look like, because this is a lot of fun. Look at this Knight of Cups. Beautiful, right? It just gives you the full image. I just love this deck, and I love working with it too. Look at this Queen of Cups, right? You get completely different imagery than your regular RWS. Look at this Death card. And you get to see things that you would never otherwise see. For example, where this Death card is, there is the Tower. You see that? This is the Knight of Wands. Look, there's a snake there. It looks like the horse is reacting to the presence of the snake, which I never seen before. Look at this Two of Wands. Really a great deck. Just so interesting to see something refreshing. And that is the reason why I pulled it out for spring, because it is refreshing. These images are just refreshing. That is the Chariot. That's the Lovers. Look how interesting that card is, right? And so on and so forth, you guys. Like I said, there's a full review of this deck online. So if you want to look at it, it's in my channel. And you guys, let's move on to deck number 4. Deck number 4, the Red Seeds Tarot by Linda Hill. This deck is creative. This deck is a piece of artwork. This deck is totally different than any other deck. And this is one of the reasons why it came out for springtime. You guys, I use this deck on a regular basis, so don't think that I'm just taking it out for springtime, because this deck is a deck that I use on a very, very, very much often basis. I love using this deck. I love the drawings. I love the meanings of the cards. It is different. It is RWS, but in a different sort of Greek mythology sort of way. So let me show you. So the box is a hardcover box. It breaks into 2 pieces. It comes with this little gifts that Linda said to me, that Linda sent to me, because I bought my deck directly with her. She is located in the UK. And so the cards are in here, and this is the bottom part of the box. And let me show you what these beautiful cards look like. By the way, you guys, these cards are on the larger side. So this is a regular size card, and look how much bigger this one is. So small hand friends, small finger friends. This is a deck that you're going to have to get creative with. It is also, when it comes to cardstock, sort of a thicker cardstock. Of course, I don't have a problem with this. I love thicker cardstock. It is not on the shiny side. It is on the matte side. This is what the back of the card looks like. It is not reversible, but I guess if you're not looking too carefully, you can do it in reverse. I don't do reversals, so for me, it's not a big deal. And you're going to have to shuffle this deck this way. There is no other way to do it. The cards are just too big to shuffle any other way, at least for me, and I don't ripple shuffle. So you guys, this is an expensive deck, so don't think that this is an inexpensive deck. Also, it needed to be shipped from England. I am not located in England, so that also costed me shipping and handling and all of the other fees that come with it. So it was expensive. So I suggest that if you're going to want to buy this deck, maybe if you can find it locally, that would be a lot better than just get it shipped all the way from England. But as I said in many of my other videos, if I can buy directly from the creators, I will do that, because I love supporting the creators of these decks. I am so thankful to them and for all the work that they do. I really tarot decks are a big part of my life, so I try to support the creators as much as I can. And they're not gilded. These cards are not gilded, so if you want to do a spread, it works really, really well. They are big cards, so we don't have a lot of space here to do a spread, but let me show you what these cards look like. They're beautiful. I love Linda Hill's interpretation of the major and minor arcana. It's just absolutely gorgeous. This is the 10 of Vessels, which is the 10 of Cups. She has the minor arcana. She calls them different names. So vessels are 4 cups. Here we have the 2 of Seeds. Seeds are pentacles in this particular deck. We have the 8 of Bees, which are swords. Look at that artwork. Don't you just love it? Well, I mean, I do. I love her artwork, really. Linda Hill, if you're watching, thank you for such beautiful decks. And I have 2 other decks by Linda Hill, by the way, and I enjoy all of them. This is the Queen Bee, and they come with a very nice booklet. I don't have the booklet here with me, but this deck comes with a beautiful booklet. So, and her books are beautiful, and they're beautifully written, and it is worth giving the book a read. This is the Queen of Seeds, which is the Queen of Coins. Let's pull one more card. 3 of Vessels. That is the 3 of Cups, of course. Beautiful deck. I love Linda Hill's decks. And like I said, you guys, the book is beautiful. And actually, you know what? I found it. And here's the book. So the book is thick, the book is big, it doesn't fit in the lens here, and it just goes right into details. It tells you everything you need to know. It is beautifully written. It has the myth, it has the mysteries, it has the soul journey. I love it. So Linda Hill, big thumbs up. Beautiful decks, beautiful artwork, so creative. I'm so thankful. And you guys, with that being said, we are going to go to deck number 3. Deck number 3, Poeses. You guys, this is not a tarot deck. This is an oracle deck. And you guys, once in a while on my list, there's an oracle deck that slips in there. And it is, I guess, for me normal because oracle decks are also a big part of my readings. They're also a big part of my life. And I also collect oracle decks. I have a full video of my oracle decks, my 10 best oracle decks on the channel. So if you want to look at that, you can do that as well. But this particular deck reminded me of springtime. And not only did it remind me of springtime, but it made it to the top 3, right? I mean, this is deck number 3. This is a beautiful deck, you guys. And I got it not too long ago. I've been wanting to get this deck for a long time, but it's expensive, so that was kind of pushing me away from it, but I finally got it and I splurged, and here we have it. I'm glad I got it. It's a gorgeous deck. This is what the box looks like, and this is what the inside of the box looks like, and this is what is written on the back of the box. If you want to read that, pause your device and go ahead and do that, and let me show you what these beautiful cards look like. You guys, one of the things that I didn't enjoy about this deck, and that's why I didn't make it to number 1 or number 2, but it still made it to number 3, right? That's a big jump. But this doesn't come with a booklet. It just comes with a, I don't know if you can call this a pamphlet, but it just is like a piece of paper that opens up, and it has a drawing there, and it just gives you some basic information here on the back. So if you want to have the poems for this deck, you're going to have to if you want to have the poems for this deck, you're going to have to go online and you're going to have to look in there because they are not included in that pamphlet that I just showed you. Let me show you what these cards look like. This is an introduction card, and it says Poesis, created by Andrea Wan, poetry by Megan King. And to visit and read the poems, you go to this website here to read the poems. So they are gilded, and they are gilded in that matte gold, which lasts really, really long and doesn't get worn out easily. So that is always a wonderful thing to have. This is what the back of the cards look like. They are reversible. I don't know if they have reversed meanings because I haven't gone online to check out the poems, but I read the cards to me with the keyword, and I make up what I think the card says to me. This is how I do this this deck. And it also, this pamphlet that it came with, it gives you a couple of spreads, so it is a bit helpful when it comes to that. When it comes to size, these are pretty much regular size cards, and also the cardstock on this deck is beautiful. This cardstock is that rose petal without being too intrusive. You can still shuffle this deck pretty well, but it's robust, you guys. Nothing is going to happen to this deck for a long time. You can really use it. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring this deck out for spring, or why I thought it would be a spring deck and a number 3 spring deck at that, is because of the simplicity of it. Spring to me should be a light time of the year, and this deck is very light. Even though it's a thick deck, I can still manage to hold it, and I can still do my shuffling. Now, the cards get a little bit stuck together because it is that rose petal, which a lot of you don't like, I know. I happen to like it very much. But still, at the end of the day, I can shuffle. And if you want to do a spread, it spreads good. It spreads okay. It's not the best, but still spreads good. And let me show you some of these cards, because these drawings are very intricate and they are very interesting. This is create, right? And so you can make up your mind from what you see on the card and how you read these cards, whether you want to do clarifications with them, whether you want to do a full reading with them. It is an oracle deck, so it'll speak to you from the heart. Let's look at some of the other ones. This one is home. So make up your mind what that means, or what that means for you or in that particular reading. You can go and look up the poems. Like I said before, that's not a problem. You can do that. This is journey, pretty self-explanatory. And that's another reason why I took it out for springtime, because they are self-explanatory and they are simple cards. Transform. And one of the videos that I did on the channel is a full review of this deck, you guys. So if you want to go in the channel and take a look at that, you want to see this deck in full, go in the channel and take a look. It is in there. This is play, and so on and so forth, you guys. It goes on and on. It's a beautiful deck. I totally recommend it. It's a nice break from tarot. If you're looking to be inspired by poems, this would definitely be a deck that you might want to pull out or acquire if you don't have it. And now, you guys, we're going to move to deck number 2. Deck number 2, The Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery, 2nd edition by Robert M. Place. This deck is beautiful. I enjoy working with this deck very much. The presentation of these decks, or Robert M. decks, is usually beautiful. This is covered in cloth and it has that green look to it. They just basically, it looks like it was handmade. I'm not sure if these are mass produced or if these are indie decks. I would have to find out, but by the looks of it, I would think that this is an indie deck, because it just looks like it was handmade. Not that all indie decks are handmade, of course, but it looks and feels like an indie deck. And of course, the box breaks up when you pull it out. The inside of the box is green as well. And these are the cards. It comes with a booklet that is not very informative, but it will give you the meaning of the cards if that is what you're looking for. It is not RWS based, sort of. It is. It goes away from that, but it will totally give you the answers to your questions. It will tell you exactly what you are looking for. And it is just beautiful. This deck is beautiful. Once again, this deck is gilded in that matte gilding, in that gold matte gilding, which lasts longer than your usual one. And this is what the back of the card looks like. They are not reversible, as you can see. And the cardstock for these cards is beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. I love this cardstock. It is robust. It is not matte, but it is not shiny. It is not heavy, but it is not light. It is just perfect all around, and it's going to last. I can say this to you. When it comes to size, they are regular size, so you won't have a problem holding them. They are not super heavy. They are, however, a bit thick. So if you have small fingers like I do, you might have a bit of a problem, but not really. I don't, as you can see, I'm not having a problem, and I do have short fingers. So, but it's still just shuffles really well. If we want to do a spread, the spread works okay. You can still do sort of a good spread. And let me show you what some of these cards look like, because they are just beautiful. They are spring to me. This is the 8 of Wands. We have the 5 of Wands here. The Star. Lady, that is the Lady of Coins. And some of the names are different. And this is the 5 of Coins. You guys, beautiful deck. I love Robert M. Place decks. They always meet the standards. I am just so happy to have his decks on my collection. I have almost all of them. And so with that being said, you guys, guess what? We're going to jump to deck number 1. Deck number 1, the Spirit Song Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. You guys, here's the story about this tarot deck. I love Paulina Cassidy, of course, but you know, her tarots never really, or her decks never really made it to number 1, number 2, or number 3 because of the presentation. I always gotten her tarots in this presentation. They're all mass produced. They come in a talk box. The cardstock quality is okay. The talk boxes are always flimsy, and I thought that they were mediocre, so they never made it. The other day I went shopping to one of my favorite tarot stores in town, and I saw this deck sitting there, and I thought, is this really, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? I couldn't believe that one of Paulina's decks came in a different presentation. Now, this is a mass-produced deck, but it is in a hardcover box. Look at this. It is by US Systems. And this box opens into 2 pieces like this, as you can see. Look at this book. It actually comes with a book. I'm so used to seeing pamphlets for her decks. This is the first time I actually see a book. And it is actually a pretty nice book. The cover is a rose petal, and it's really light when it comes to the colors, and it's a pretty good book. So it's over 100 pages long, and so I was really impressed. Let me show you around. Let me tell you why this made it to number 1 on my spring list. Paulina Cassidy, as many of you know, and if you don't know, she makes very intricate drawings, and they're so light. They look like they're made with watercolors. And so this is one of the reasons why she is number 1. This is the back of the box, by the way. If you want to read that, you can pause your device and go ahead. And I love this. This is whimsical. This is light. The drawings are super, super light to look at. It's a wonderful deck to read. It gives you your answers right away, but with a sort of a story in it. So when we look at these cards and we compare it to a regular Paulina Cassidy deck, which I have a card of her regular decks. Look, it is taller and it is wider, right? And so the paper quality or the cardstock quality is also improved, and it's sort of a matte finish. So when it comes to also handling this deck, I'm kind of holding it at my limit here, but you know, when it comes to shuffling these decks, it shuffles so well. It shuffles really, really well. The cards are not too light, not too heavy. The cardstock is not too thick. It's just wonderful. This is what the back of the card looks like. Isn't that beautiful? And they are reversible. It looks like a water lily to me. I love it. I've never seen this presentation for one of Paulina's decks. And if I'm wrong, and there's other decks from hers that come with this sort of presentation, and I don't care if they're mass produced. An indie deck would also be nice from her. I would love to find an indie deck from Paulina, but I just can't find them. They're all mass produced. But the fact that I found it in this presentation already pleases me. So if you do a spread with this deck, it works really well because the cardstock allows for a nice spread. And so if I show you some of the cards, of course, they're Paulina Cassidy. How funny, I picked up the card that is on the cover of her box. So that's strength, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. It's so light. The pastel colors give it a really spring look, and they are just absolutely beautiful. And the deck is super light, you guys. So I'm pulling some of the cards here for you to see. This is number 5, Shaman, which is a major arcana, and some of the names change, of course. This is number 18, the Moon, and This is Queen of Acorns, and acorns are, I believe, wands. This is the Nine of Acorns, and so on and so forth, you guys. That's how it goes. Pauline is a fabulous artist, and I am so happy with her artwork, and her decks are perfect for spring, especially the Spirit Song. So you guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You guys, tell me if you have any of these decks. Tell me if you would like to have some of these decks. Are some of these decks on your wish list? I love to hear from you guys. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. And as I always say, you guys, until the next time.